So hello, thank you very much for joining me here in this presentation about identifying abstracts written by ChatGPT, Scientific English Students Challenge. This is part of the innovation project developed at UCM titled "The Use of ChatGPT as an Innovative Tool to Improve Teaching Quality in English Philology, General English, and English for Specific Purposes," which is the one that we're going to deal with here, English for Specific Purposes. So this presentation is divided into introduction, methodology, results and discussion, and conclusions. Yes, to start with the justification for this study would be that the emergence of ChatGPT has simplified the automatic generation of text by allowing users to input prompts for specific text creation. For example, now you can create an abstract for a scientific paper, just telling the tool, telling ChatGPT what the topic would be about. ChatGPT can therefore be applied across various domains, including language education. So it's not only that it's going to make things easier when we want to generate something, we want to find an answer to something, but also we can use it to improve the language learning in our classes. And only we know how to use it properly, as usual, right? Same as happens with every single tool. So in this case, contrasting artificial intelligence generated text with human written text may help students in understanding genre conventions and improving their writing skills. So the objectives of this presentation would be to determine the ability of English students to distinguish between scientific abstracts written by ChatGPT and humans. And the research questions would be: how many students correctly identify the abstract generated by ChatGPT? What are the primary reasons students give to justify their choice? And what differences do students perceive between ChatGPT generated abstracts and their own? So the participants that we have were 62 students enrolled in the course Introduction to Scientific English. So even though they might come from different degrees, because scientific English is a very general thing, in this case, they belong to the degree in Optics and Optometry at the Complutense University of Madrid. This course is optional and it's taken in the first semester, usually the first year. So most of the students are in the first year. And we had two groups of about 30 students each, so we carried it out twice, just the very same thing. And in this case, in this course, students learn about the use of scientific English and how to write academic scientific text, right? For example, they have to write a poster, scientific poster for a conference and an article. So they know how to do these two things because they are taught during the course. They are taught the conventions of these genres. So in this case, for this study, students were presented with two texts, one generated by ChatGPT and one from a real online journal. So these were two abstracts, one of them from a real journal and one of them generated by ChatGPT. The way to generate the text by ChatGPT was just by giving it the prompt with the title of the author, the real text. So the prompt was like, generate, create, write an abstract for a scientific paper about the following topic. And then the topic was the title of the real article. Of about 150 words. Okay, so it was, and actually it was like 120 because we know that one of the things that ChatGPT doesn't do is, fit. Just cover the words that you say. So usually it writes fewer words. So students were asked to identify the ChatGPT generated text and justify the choice based on text features specifically. So I'm going to show you here the two texts, text A and text B, but I'm going to tell you which one is written by ChatGPT so that you have some time. Maybe you want to pause the presentation and think a little bit, because now I'm going to tell you which one actually belongs to ChatGPT. Okay, so if you want to stop it, just stop it now, and then I'm going to reveal it. Okay, so here it goes. Right, so the text on the left is written by ChatGPT, and the one on the right was written by humans, and it was published on an online journal. Okay, so now you can see the differences. You can take some time. So we present the students these two texts, and we had that actually 70% of students identified correctly the text written by ChatGPT. So we were very surprised, because we didn't expect students to be able to do it like 50-50, but 70-30, that was like a surprise. What were the reasons they gave for this correct attribution? Well, they talk about the two texts. So when they were talking about the ChatGPT text, they said that it uses the first person. They were taught that when you're writing in scientific English, you should not use the first person that much, or neither the second, right? So you shouldn't say I or we. You shouldn't say you either, right? So you should use the third person most of the time. And also they said that text A uses repetitive language and explanation. So it's always about a couple of concepts again and again, like with very general language, right? So we had that text A is less concise than text B, so it's more general. And then about the real text, they said that it's more specific, and it's more organized and structured. It provides a more detailed and understandable explanation of the topic. It contains more technical vocabulary as well, and it adheres to the general structure and rules of scientific writing. And we had one student who said that even though both texts fail to include essential components of a scientific abstract, text B, so the human one, is closer to meeting their requirements. So even though none of them was the ideal abstract, text B was closer. So they thought that the one that was actually well written and was more specific was written by humans, and the one that was more general and may have more mistakes about structure or information to be covered would be written by ChatGPT. And now it's very funny because students who fail to attribute the authorship of the text correctly, they identify the same text features in both, but they thought that ChatGPT would do better than humans. So they identified the mistakes in the same way, but they thought that ChatGPT had written the text on the right, so text B, because it was better than the other one. So they thought that humans would be more prone to making mistakes than ChatGPT. And also students were asked about the differences between their abstracts and the ones that they had written, because they carried out some research and they had to write, a paper and then a poster. So they were asked to compare their own abstracts and ChatGPT's. And they pointed out that students provide more detailed information about the methodology and the findings. On the other hand, they said as well that obviously ChatGPT doesn't make any grammar mistakes or any spelling mistakes. And they sometimes do, because they are students of English, they are learning English. So that's very, very interesting. Okay, so in conclusion, we can say that contrasting artificial intelligence generated and human written text aids in understanding general conventions and enhancing writing skills. Student familiarity and adaptation to artificial intelligence tools are crucial for maximizing their pedagogical benefits. And also further exploration of artificial intelligence generated tests in educational settings may enrich student learning experiences in scientific writing courses. So what are we going to do next? Well, it will be very interesting to see the difference between the identification before and after taking the course, because in this case, this study was carried out at the very end of the course. So they had already been taught how to write abstracts and every single part in a paper. So it will be very interesting to see if they are more able to identify which one is written by a human before or after the course is taken. Also, additional tests can be used to see consistent results in time with different students and in different courses and in different degrees as well. And finally, I think it will be very interesting to see how the use of ChatGPT can improve students' writing. And that would be the second part of the study, where students were asked to take their introduction. So they wrote an introduction, and as I said, the different parts of the paper for their study they carried out. So they were asked to take the introduction section and improve it using ChatGPT. So that would be the next step. I thank you very much for your patience and being here with me in this presentation. So I hope that you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.